Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to a gameplay video of Watch Dogs at maximum settings, and I'm using the new Nvidia 337.88 release day optimization drivers. These drivers have helped tremendously, and I get an average of 10% better usage on both of my GPUs, which translates to about 20 to 30 frames per second better in game. One thing that I do notice is a big bottleneck when it comes to video RAM. So guys with high video RAM GPUs like the 4GB version of the 770 or the Titan will do a lot better than GPUs that have 3 gigs of video RAM or less. I have two 780s, they only have 3 gigs of video RAM, but I'm using all 3 gigs at all times, which you can see here. A lot of people have been complaining about Watch Dogs as unoptimized. An unoptimized game means low resource usage and low frames per second. But with Watch Dogs, we have high amounts of resource usage, aka high video RAM usage, but we also have low frames per second, so we know that that's a bottleneck in the area of video RAM. Before release date, I was playing Watch Dogs on my hard drive instead of my SSD, and I thought that was the cause of much of the stuttering and the lag spikes that happen when you drive at high speeds and transition to new areas. But on my SSD, the performance hasn't improved that much. I'm wondering whether anybody has put the game on a RAM disk yet and whether that would help at all. But the game does seem to flow a lot better the more and more you play it, and when you switch to a new graphical setting, don't give up on it after like the first 30 seconds or so. After about 5 minutes, you will notice an improvement over the first 30 seconds of using a new graphical setting. So when you're changing your graphical setting, stick with it for a little bit and it might improve. But to benchmark the game, I drove through the busiest part of the city at night when it was raining, which is about as intensive as the game gets. So if you can play the game at this setting during nighttime and while it's raining, then you can play it in any situation. And still I get between 45 to 60 frames per second. And benchmarks should be done during the most intensive segments as opposed to more relaxing segments. So if you can play the game at this setting, then you should have no problems playing the game at any other time. So in summary, I don't think the game is as unoptimized as people are making it out to be, unless of course you're running on AMD hardware, in which case there is a clear optimization discrepancy due to Nvidia GameWorks, but there's just a huge bottleneck when it comes to video RAM usage because many gamers are going to be running graphics cards with less than 3 gigs of video RAM. But if you have a Titan or a GTX 770 with 4 gigs of video RAM, you should be doing pretty decently on ultra textures. If you do prioritize ultra textures, then anti-aliasing, at least MSAA and TXAA, is an easy area to sacrifice because of the resource hog it places on your video RAM. But thank you guys for watching this benchmark / performance analysis video. I hope to see you guys on more of my videos. David out.